Hi guys, and welcome back. My name is Amanda, also known as Mermaid Hair Donut Care, like donut. And we're here today for my September palette ranking. I used 22 eyeshadow palettes this month, which is more than last month by I think about 4. I think I used 18 last month. I have to say, I'm not sure what was going on, but I was maybe a little like cutthroat with this ranking. I also like to do my rankings. I kind of do them a little different each month. This month, I kind of focused more on the looks that I got with the palettes rather than just the palettes themselves. Um, but it kind of flip-flopped back and forth between the palettes themselves and then something about the palette and the look I got with it. It all kind of just like went together. But I don't like to sit and like take like hours, because if I thought about it too much, this would take me hours to rank these palettes. So I kind of like to do it in like one fell swoop and just like do it really fast, and then that's it. It's done. That decision was that decision, and it's wrote down in pen, not pencil. It's permanent. Not that it really is all that serious, but I enjoy this. If that sounds interesting to you and you would like to see what my #1 ranked palette this month is, please stay tuned. Also, if you'd like to follow along in my makeup journey, which I really hope you would, I would love for you to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, follow me on TikTok, Instagram. All the handles are Mermaid Hair and Donut Care. So let's get into it. Okay, palette number 22. Now, I always do have my reasons and I do try to explain myself, but everyone's allowed to have different opinions. So if you don't agree with me, that is fine. If you do agree with me, that is also fine, as long as we are being nice and respectful to each other. Palette number 22 is the P. Louise Go Shoddy It's Your Birthday palette. And there's really only, well, no, there's 2 reasons. The first reason is it's an entirely neutral palette. We have the more cool tones up top and the more warm tones down the bottom. Quality, no problems whatsoever. Quality was awesome. The shimmers are great. The biggest thing for me is this thing is monstrous. Like, look at it compared to the side of my head. Like, it's huge. It's huge and it's bulky. And I'm pretty sure there's 42 pans. Oh, last time I used this or ranked it, I said that I didn't have time to count or do the math. But I'm pretty sure there's like 42 shades. I might be, yeah, 42. So I've seen palettes of that size just be done in a less cumbersome packaging, and it just takes up so much space, and I don't know where to put it or what to do with it. It's like a giant box on my bookcase of palettes. So with that being said, I probably am not going to reach for this very often, just because of that. But I don't plan on getting rid of it from my collection just yet. So we'll see. Okay, palette number 21. I really went for them this month. P. Louise, the Blend Away 2022 palette. Again, this thing is massive. It's so large. It is definitely less. I'm trying to see how many. This is 50 shades. It's definitely less of like a big, thick, bulky packaging, but it's still like gigantic. Like, it doesn't even fit in the frame. Like, it's huge. It's a huge palette. And again, it's a neutral palette. I don't hate neutrals. I just love color. So this one is just slightly higher because of the color. Like, it has that pink and the peachiness. Again, quality was not at all an issue. This worked beautifully. But I guess in all is what I'm getting at is like, it doesn't inspire me as much as my super bright, fun colorful palettes do. And that's like what I need. I used a ton a ton of neutral palettes this month, which kind of made me feel like I was in a little bit of a rut, and I couldn't figure out why until I sat down and did this ranking, and I was like, oh my god, I used so much neutral makeup, and that's just not my jam. Here and there, totally fine. Like I said, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I just love color that much more, that I felt like I was in some kind of creative rut because I was using all neutrals this month. Not all, but a lot. So yeah, now that that little tangent is over, number 20 is the Glam Light Creeps and Crawls palette. So there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with this palette. I love this palette so much, but I only use one shade for the entire month. That's the only reason that it is ranked this low. I just felt like I couldn't put it any higher when I didn't really fully use it or dive into it, play with the colors. I literally used this dark purple right here, and I didn't actually really love the way that the look came out, but it wasn't the fault of this palette in any way, shape, or form. It's just that I only used the one shade, so I felt kind of guilty ranking it any higher than that. Okay, on to palette number 19. It is the Morphe Loves Wins palette. Matte, rainbow, got one shimmer in the middle. When I was doing looks with this palette, I did say that I was probably just going to keep it as like a nostalgia piece. I don't really use my Morphe palettes anymore. I might give them another shot because everyone that I have like talked to or heard from has said that they all still use their Morphe palettes and they haven't had any issues. So I might be taking them out of my little declutter pile and giving them a second chance. Although something about Morphe's quality I feel like is not always the best. I did not have any problems with this palette though. So maybe I will just keep it in my collection and try and use it when I can instead of just keeping it as a nostalgia piece. But either way, it's not going anywhere. Palette number 18 is the Glamlight Burger Splatter palette. Now, I love this palette, and I love the look that I did with this palette this month. Unfortunately, it's literally the packaging that I have an issue with. Because, like, I would bring this. This is the cutest little 9-pan, like, color story-wise. Like, you can do neutral. I love the coppery shimmer. I love the blues, the pink, the green. I love this color story. Like, I got such a cute look. I did do a more neutral look with, like, blue under, on my under eye. Lower lash line. Oh my gosh, I could not think of what is going on with my hair. I couldn't think of the word for that. But like I would bring this traveling, but like where is this fitting in my suitcase, in my makeup bag? I need literally, I stuff so much in my makeup bag when I travel that this just like will not do. It cannot be a part of that because I already take up too much room with all of my other things. I need like smaller, compact, like palettes that are not like fluffy. I mean, this does like squish down, but I feel like it's like ruining the packaging. I don't know. But I do love the color story, so it's nothing against that and nothing against the quality whatsoever. It's literally just the puffy packaging. Okay, number 17 is the ColourPop Fade into Hue palette. Again, this is one of my favorite palettes. It's one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. It was the #1 ranked ColourPop palette that I own. Go check that ranking out. And if you want to be surprised, go check out my ColourPop bracket ranking, because even though this was ranked #1 in the original ranking, I will tell you right now that it did not win the bracket ranking. Anyway, I only used one shade out of this month as well, and it was literally a pressed glitter, shockingly. It was the shade Lucky Charm. The look came out so cute, but that was literally the only shade I used out of this. So again, felt like I couldn't rank it any higher because of that. Number 16 is the Lux B Aesthetix Luxe Jupiter palette. This is a tiny little quad. Super cute toppery shades. Love them. I only used one shade out of this month, but I did use one last month as well. I have yet to use these two at the bottom, so I'm really hoping to get to them this month. But this shade right here, I think it's just called Low, or is it IO? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. But this coppery shade made a really cute look, and I loved it. So I can't wait to keep using this. But again, I only used the one shade. Okay. Number 15 is the Elli Beauty Smoke and Leather palette. Now, I have no problems with the quality of this palette whatsoever. It is fairly neutral, and I did do a fun look with it just the other day, actually. But it didn't come, the look itself didn't come out really how I wanted it. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what went wrong. But it was not as great as I had pictured in my mind. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I did wrong with it. But again, this is a fairly neutral palette. Yes, it does have more colorful neutrals. So I am excited to keep playing with it. It is currently the palette that I'm using for my picking out of a takeout container. So I do have a couple more looks that I plan on doing with this. So we'll see where it ends up next month. Okay, number 14. I'm pretty sure it just started raining. So if you hear that, my apologies. Number 14 is the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. I absolutely love the packaging of this. Like, it literally looks like a crystal, looks like a geode. I love the rainbow reflex. Anyway, I love like this, I don't know, the quality, the material it's made out of. Anyway, I liked this palette. I did enjoy 2 of the 3 looks. The first look I did with it, I didn't really like that much. I'm not sure. I think it just came out, I don't know, it looked kind of like sloppy to me. I'm not really sure, again, what went wrong there. This palette confuses me though, because these 2 shimmers, this one and this one, are so similar. Like, I don't understand the need for both of them, I guess, when the shift looks exactly the same. So I think that just like threw me off completely because I wasn't expecting them to be the same. What I did love was the pink tones in this, and I also really loved like the taupey, like brown taupey, almost like purpley tones were so pretty, and this shimmer right here, so pretty. But I just was like, it just confused me. And then that was my first look. I tried to use both of these and they looked exactly the same. So I was very like thrown off and confused and not sure like how to move on from that. So I do enjoy this palette, and I actually mentioned in my review of it that I would probably bring this for travel because, I mean, it's a little bit bigger than I normally go for. I normally do try to stick for like 9 pans or 5 pans or something a little bit more compact. But I do feel that for travel purposes, with all of the neutrals and the pinks and again the taupey tones, you could get some really pretty looks out of this. So I probably still will use this for travel. I feel like I ranked it lower just because it really did throw me off when I was using it. So, like I said, I was a tad bit cutthroat. I didn't have a problem with the quality. It was just those 2 shimmers, like they threw me off so badly. I was like, I don't understand like what's going on here. Like, what is going on here? Anyway, number 13 is the Lunar Beauty 12 Days of Lunar. I love this palette. It is the perfect fall palette. I think I ranked it so much lower than I would have normally because the look that I did with it was just another neutral look. It was, I think, what did I wear it on? The day of my wife's birthday party was when I wore it, and I just like, it was just a neutral look. Although I will say the shimmers are amazing in here, and I did forget about how great they were until I used them again. So I absolutely 1000% appreciate that, and I can't wait to use this again. I want to do something more colorful with the next look I do, and I want to do like a fun fall look, but like a colorful fall look. But I'm ranking it this low just because I did a neutral look, and it kind of, not that made me sad, but like, you know, it's just not as exciting. It's just not as exciting for me personally. Sorry, my name is Amanda and I smack my microphone every single time I film. Anyway, Nomad Verona is palette number 12. I hate the way I just said that. Anyway, it's so awkward to open it. Okay, there we go. This palette, I love the color story of this palette. It's so pretty. I love that there's two different sides. They're like not clashing, but they're like, yeah, like clashing against each other, but like in a good way. I do prefer, I'm not gonna lie, I do prefer the purple, blue, like gray side. But I've done the more looks that I have done have come from the pink and red side. The only problem that I have with this palette is that these shimmer shades are definitely like hard panned. I do have to like dig in. Once you do that though, like they apply fine. It's just that you have to like dig into the palette, like into the shade to like actually get it to work. So, not the biggest deal. I still love the color story and I do still love this palette. The mattes are also fabulous. Okay. Number 11 is the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. Again, this felt like very, very, very neutral to me. I did a very neutral look. I did do like a neutral eye with a green lower lash line, which I did like the way it came out. So it's just that the neutrals have been putting me down, but I do really enjoy this palette. I'm still like playing with it. I still haven't fully got to like dig into all of the shades and like see where I can get out of them. But I do enjoy the shimmers, that is for sure. These shimmers are all really great, and each one that I've used has been amazing. So I will say that definitely gives it a little bit of like a leg up because these shimmers are fantastic. Okay, palette number 10. Palette number 10 is the Blend Bunny Dollhouse palette. Now, again, this is a super neutral palette, but I feel like it has a lot more options and a lot more colorful shimmers. I did use this for a look for a job interview. I had to go a little bit more safe as far as colors go. So I used this in conjunction with the Sugar and Grunge palette, and the look that I got out of it was actually gorgeous. I loved it. I used more of the mauvey like pink tones. It came out so good. I absolutely love it. So I really do like this palette. Honestly, I hope I stated, I don't think I did. There was not a palette in this month that I didn't like. And I feel like that happens pretty much every month. Like, I haven't been using palettes that I just don't like. There's nothing in my collection currently that I'm aware of. I guess I'll find out when I do like a full declutter. But there's nothing in my collection right now that I don't like. So all of these palettes I like. So it's just the little things. I'm just nitpicking like what looks I got out of them, what colors I used, how some of the shades worked to really decide which palettes I like better than the others this month. Okay, palette number 9 is the Playing in Makeup by Yolando hashtag capture 5-pan. I love orange makeup. I love orange eyeshadow. I did a look with this and a ColourPop Super Shock that was also like an orangey gold, like more gold than this is obviously very, very coppery. And the look came out so good. I absolutely loved it. The quality of this 5-pan is so good. It's so good. It definitely makes me wish that I had more Playing and Makeup by Yolanda, also known as PIMBY, like eyeshadow palettes, because I do have a couple of the 5-pans, and I've enjoyed every single time that I've ever used them. So the quality is just so good. I absolutely love this palette. I almost wish that like it was extended, that I had just like a couple more shades like in this little color story, because I really do love it. It's so pretty and such good quality shadows. Okay, number 8. This is so funny because this I think is, I should go through one day and do like my most improved palettes, because I'm pretty sure this was ranked last in not one, but I think 2 rankings. And I'm pretty sure this was ranked last in my Glamlight palette ranking. But it's the Glamlight Veggie Lover Pizza palette. I loved the look that I got out of this. Okay, so this is neutral, yes, but heavy on the green. Green is my favorite color. This is like heavy on the green. This is not just like a regular neutral. Okay, as I was saying before my phone rudely cut me off, this is a neutral palette, but it's a heavy on the green neutral palette, which makes me really love it. And like I said, I got a really awesome look out of it. So I think I'm just falling in love with this palette a little more every day. And then now this one won between this and the Burger Slider palette as the buy-in for the full Glamlight bracket. So this is in the bracket. We'll see where it lands overall. Don't expect anything too soon because those take me literally months. All right. Number 7 is the Cosmic Brushes Delicious Delights palette. I love the color story of this palette. I have only used this one time. I think so, right? One time. And I did a full blue look for a wedding. I didn't love the look all together, and I think it had to do with my face makeup that I didn't love, because I really did like the eye look that I created. But I love this shade right here. It's literally called Delicious. It's got like a fun like shift of like pinky blue. But I absolutely love this palette, and I cannot wait to keep using it. So that is that. Palette number 6 is actually, I'm surprised that it's this low, but I guess there's reasons. It's the Blend Bunny Blends palette, and the reason is that I didn't really use it that much this month. I feel like I used so many palettes that were either neutral or had all the shades in them that I needed, that I didn't really dip into this that much. I will say that the one shade that I know for a fact that I used a few times was the shade, what is this again? Sunsets. Why do I always forget that? I always forget it. And it's my most used shade out of this entire palette, but I always forget this shade, Sunsets. But I love a light pink pop on my inner corner, so I use this one the most for sure. But yeah, I still had to rank it high because it's still like one of my all-time favorite palettes, but I just really didn't use it that much this month, which again is a shock. Number 5 is the Odin's Eye Flora Story palette. Now, I had made a TikTok about the fall palettes, or palettes that I thought would be good for fall, and I put this one in here, and I was like, did I make the wrong decision? Is this not really going to be a fall palette? Let me try. Let me make a look that is fall using this palette, and I actually really, really loved the look that I got with this. It was a little bit like softer than probably most people would do for fall. I feel like fall is like super grungy, or like orangey coppers and like black, purple, green. Well, purple and green, yes, but softer. I still think it came out super pretty. I still have to say the shade Dawn is like my absolute favorite. It's so freaking gorgeous. So I really did enjoy using this palette, and I can't wait to keep using it. Okay. Number 4 is the palette that I am currently wearing on my eyes at the moment. It is the Glamlight Frosted Flakes palette. I almost just said Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes palette. I actually love this palette. So this is only the second time I'm using it, and this gold I used the first time that I used it, and it was like one of the best golds ever. And I obviously stuck to the blues, and then this shade Sweet Spark is what I have all over my lid, and it is stunning. It is like one of the prettiest blue shimmers that I've ever used. And then the mattes were just awesome also. I love Glamlight's formula. This look is going to be involved in the Glamlight bracket ranking, so keep your eye out for that. But I just really enjoyed using the palette today. I needed something fun and colorful to boost my mood, and I think that it did that for sure. Okay, number 3 is a shock to me. It is the Nomad Ghost Town USA palette. Now this, at first glance, like I literally thought I was not going to like this palette, but I still bought it. And that's on shopping problems. But I really was like not sure. I was not sure I was going to like it. I was like, it looks super neutral. I'm not sure I'm going to like it. And then I got it and I opened it and I was like, oh, wait, I actually really like this. And if you want to see what I did with it, I think it's actually only like 2 videos ago that I did the look with this palette. I love the look that I came out with this palette. I definitely went for like the blues, and then of course I had to use, where is it? Oh yeah, that one. Ghost Train, which is purple. So it's funny because when I was looking at it from the side, I couldn't find it because it is brown when you look at it from this angle, and then it's purple when you look at it straight on. So it is definitely a little duochrome action. But I absolutely love the look that I came up with this. It was so pretty, and I am very excited to keep using this. So that is the shocker for me, because I really thought that I was just not gonna be about it, but I bought it anyway. And I can't help myself most times. Also, Nomad, I love the quality of Nomad, so I know whatever the color story is, I know I'm gonna be getting good quality. So I bought it and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a chance color story wise. Boy, am I glad that I did that. Okay, moving on. Number 2. We are in the top 2. And honestly, I think the number 1 palette is going to be a huge shock. So anyway, number 1, this is number 2, and I was holding it upside down, is the Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge palette. I love this palette. I really do. I've loved every look I've gotten out of this palette. I think I have used every shade but 2 at this point. But I like reach for this palette. I feel like I think about this palette. I'm like, ooh, what could I do with that? Oh, I could use the green row. I went for an interview and I used this little pink, dusty pink row alongside the Dollhouse palette, and I came out with a really pretty look. Loved that. I feel like you can get some like soft looks out of this as well as like the super grungy ones. And I guess that's why it's called Sugar and Grunge. Obviously, that makes sense. But you can get like soft, pretty like looks, and then also get those like deep, like grungy, like looks. I know that makes no sense. I just growled. But I feel like you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Anyway, this palette is amazing and I absolutely love it. Okay. Here's the shocker here. I swear, I don't know what it is. Okay. This is the number 1 palette that I used in September. is the Glamlight Red Velvet Cupcake Palette. I just absolutely freaking love this palette. I don't know what it is. It's like almost like a monochromatic, like pinky purple. There's a little bit of like neutrals in there. When I was using this palette for the first time, it was for my picking out of a takeout, and I did 3 looks. I used every shade, and I loved every look I got out of it. Because not only is Glamlight's quality amazing, something about the colors and the way they were working together just like did something for me. And I started off my Glamlight bracket ranking with a look with this palette. So this was look number 1. And I pulled this palette out because I needed something fun, and I had felt like I was in a rut. I needed something that was going to help me be creative, and then this is literally the first palette that I thought of out of all of my Glamlight palettes. I was like, I'm going to pull out the Red Velvet Cupcake palette because it makes me so happy. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this palette, but literally every look that I get out of it, I fall in love with. Like the one that I did for the bracket ranking was so pretty. Like it came out so pretty. So I don't think I even posted that look yet. Once this is going up, it's probably not even posted yet. So just stay tuned for that because I think it came out gorgeous. But yeah, this is my number 1 palette for the month of September. I really just, there's something about it. There is something about this palette that I just absolutely love. I also have decided that I will probably bring it traveling with me from now on because, again, it is like one of my favorite palettes now. So I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to know if I had any of your favorite palettes that I used this month. What was your favorite palette this month? If I didn't use it, is there a palette that I should be trying that was your favorite palette this month? I would love to know all of those things. So thank you for watching. I would love for you to follow me along on my makeup journey here on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. I definitely post the most on TikTok, but everything's the same. It's Mermaid Hair, Donut Care, like donut. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will be back because there is always more.